Laziness is the silent destroyer of dreams, the hidden enemy of success that creeps into your life unnoticed and steals the time and potential that could be used to build something amazing. It doesn't come in loud, glaring ways. It doesn't show up with a giant red flag that says, hey, I'm here to sabotage your future. No, laziness is subtle. It's a voice that whispers, it's okay to take today off, you'll do it tomorrow, or it's not that important. But those whispers add up. And those whispers are killing your progress, killing your potential, and killing your future. Let me tell you, laziness is more than just a bad habit. It's a disease, and it's spreading through people's lives, robbing them of greatness. And what's worse, laziness often disguises itself as comfort. And comfort feels good, doesn't it? You've been working hard all week, you've been going through the motions, and when it's time to relax, that's when laziness strikes. It convinces you that you've done enough, that you deserve the rest, that today doesn't matter as much as tomorrow. But the problem with that mentality is that tomorrow never comes. I remember when I was starting my own journey towards success, I was broke, overwhelmed, and had no idea where to begin. Every day I told myself, I'll start tomorrow. Tomorrow was going to be the day, but guess what? Tomorrow never came. I was caught in the trap of procrastination, caught in the trap of waiting for the right moment. And every day that passed, my dreams got further and further out of reach. But here's the thing about laziness. It doesn't just keep you from achieving your goals. It steals from your future self. Think about it. Every time you choose comfort over action, you're stealing from the person you could become. You're stealing the wealth, the health, the relationships, and the impact that could be waiting for you if you were willing to get uncomfortable. Laziness is a thief, and it's robbing you blind. And the craziest part about laziness is that it doesn't even look like nothing. It often wears a mask of activity. You'll tell yourself I'm busy as you scroll through social media, reply to unnecessary emails, or waste time on things that don't move the needle forward. You're doing something, but it's not the right something. You're in motion, but you're not heading in the right direction. And that's the trick of laziness. It convinces you that you're productive when in reality, you're just filling up time to avoid doing the hard, necessary things. I know some of you are sitting there thinking, but Myron, I've got a million things on my plate. How can I possibly focus on what's important? And here's the truth. If you don't choose to focus, the world will choose for you. The world will fill your day with distractions and non-essential tasks that leave you feeling busy but unfulfilled. You'll spend your days reacting instead of acting intentionally. And as those days stack up, so does the regret of not using your time wisely. Laziness is also one of the biggest traps when it comes to mindset. Many people have big dreams, big visions, and big aspirations, but they get stuck in their own heads. They overthink, they overanalyze, they wait for the perfect moment when all the stars align. But let me tell you something. Perfection never comes. There's no magic moment where everything is lined up and ready to go. If you keep waiting for everything to be perfect before you take action, you'll wait forever. The people who succeed are the ones who decide to start now, even in imperfection. They take messy action, they make mistakes, and they learn as they go. But laziness will try to convince you that you're not ready yet. It tells you you're not qualified enough, you don't have enough resources, you don't have enough time. But those are all lies that laziness feeds you to keep you stuck, to keep you comfortable. And the longer you stay comfortable, the longer you delay the success that's meant for you. And what's worse is that laziness doesn't just affect your work life, it seeps into every area of your life. It seeps into your health, your relationships, and your personal growth. You tell yourself you'll start working out tomorrow. You'll eat healthy tomorrow. You'll call that friend you've been meaning to reconnect with tomorrow. But tomorrow doesn't come, and before you know it, you've wasted weeks, months, or even years. It's a slow burn, a creeping thing that keeps you stuck, keeps you in that comfort zone, keeps you from rising to the next level of greatness. And one day you look up and realize that time has passed and the things you wanted to achieve are still sitting on the shelf collecting dust. I know what you're thinking right now. It's easier said than done, Myron. I can't just snap my fingers and stop being lazy. And you're right, it's not easy. But it's simple. The first step in killing your laziness is recognizing it for what it is. The enemy of your potential. You can't defeat something you don't acknowledge. And if you keep pretending that laziness is just part of your personality or your bad habit, it will continue to rob you. But here's the beautiful thing. You have the power to change. You have the power to take control of your time, your energy, and your focus. It all starts with a decision. A decision to stop making excuses and start making moves. A decision to get uncomfortable, to push through the resistance and to stop waiting for the perfect moment because it doesn't exist. There's no magic day where everything will line up. The moment is now. The work is now. The time to take action is now. Every moment you spend feeding your laziness is another moment you could be using to build your dream, to move closer to your goals, to become the person you were meant to be. The longer you wait, the longer you put off the hard work, the longer you delay your success, you're the one holding yourself back. The world isn't stopping you. Other people aren't stopping you. You are stopping. And once you decide to stop listening to the lies laziness tells you, that's when you'll finally break free. To conquer laziness, you must embrace the power of self-discipline and consistency. These aren't just buzzwords. These are the pillars of success. Consistency is the secret sauce that separates dreamers from achievers. It's what transforms an idea into reality. It's what takes a vision and turns it into a legacy. But here's the thing. Consistency requires discipline, and discipline isn't easy. If it was, everyone would be successful. But the truth is, most people are willing to settle for comfort and convenience instead of putting in the work, day in and day out. You've heard people say, I want to be successful, but success is not a wish or a prayer. It's a lifestyle. Success is not an event. Success is an outcome of daily habits, of small actions taken over and over again, even when you don't feel like it. That's what separates those who want success from those who earn it. Wanting something doesn't make it yours. Desiring success doesn't bring you any closer to it. The only thing that gets you closer is doing the hard work consistently, day after day, when you're tired, when you're discouraged, when you're unsure of the outcome. I remember when I was building my business. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't some magical breakthrough moment. It wasn't a dream come true. It was a grind. Every single day, I had to show up even when I felt like nothing was happening. There were days I wanted to quit. There were days I didn't feel like doing the work. But I had made a commitment to myself that I was going to show up no matter what. And that commitment to consistency paid off. I didn't know how it would turn out, but I knew if I kept putting in the work, the results would come. This was the muscle that gets you through the tough days. It's the voice inside your head that says, get up, show up, do the work. It's the strength to say, I'm not giving up. I'm not going to let distractions, fatigue, or my own doubt stop me from doing what I know needs to be done. But let's be real. Discipline isn't easy. It doesn't feel good when you're in the middle of it. The hardest part is often getting started. That's when laziness tries to sneak in. It whispers to you, you don't need to do this right now. It can wait. But once you push through that resistance, once you make the decision to take that first step, you'll find momentum. Momentum is the game changer. Momentum is the fuel that keeps you going once you've started. And it all begins with consistency. There are a lot of people out there who want to be great, who want to achieve big things, but they lack consistency. They do a little work here and there, but they don't stick with it long enough to see real results. They start projects with passion and excitement, but when the shine wears off and the grind sets in, they give up. You cannot afford to be that person. If you want to break free from laziness, you must commit to showing up even when the excitement fades. You have to trust the process even when the results are slow. When I first started, I didn't have a ton of resources, but I had a mindset that said, I'm going to do this every single day no matter what. And let me tell you, it wasn't always easy. There were days I didn't feel like writing content, didn't feel like making phone calls, didn't feel like putting in the hours, but I showed up anyway. I disciplined myself to keep going even when it seemed like no one was paying attention, even when the results weren't immediate, even when I wanted to quit. And slowly but surely, things started to take shape. When you commit to self-discipline and consistency, you don't need to know everything. You don't need to have the perfect plan, the perfect strategy, or the perfect tools. All you need to do is show up, do the work, focus on the task at hand, and trust that if you keep putting in the effort, you will eventually reach your goal. The key here is to start small. If you're not used to being consistent, start with one thing at a time. Maybe it's dedicating 30 minutes every day to your business, or spending 15 minutes in the gym. Maybe it's reading for 20 minutes each day. It doesn't matter how small the action is, as long as it's consistent. The goal is to build the muscle of consistency until it becomes second nature. And when you start to see the results, when you begin to feel that momentum building, that's when the magic happens. Discipline becomes easier, consistency becomes second nature, and laziness begins to lose its grip on you. It becomes harder to say no to your goals when you've already shown up for them every single day. You'll find that the more disciplined you become, the more focus you get, and the more you'll achieve. Consistency doesn't mean perfection. It means doing the work day after day with determination and grit. It means refusing to let laziness win. It means making the decision every single day to take action, even when you don't feel like it. It's the ability to keep going, even when the going gets tough. And over time, this commitment to self-discipline will pay off. I'm telling you, the people who succeed are not the ones with the best circumstances, the most talent, or the most resources. The people who succeed are the ones who stick with it day in and day out. Success is not about big moments of inspiration. It's about the grind, the hustle, and the discipline to show up every single day, no matter what. And that's what will set you apart. That's what will allow you to kill laziness once and for all. The mental shift required to break free from laziness is one of the most powerful changes you can make in your life. It's not enough to simply acknowledge laziness as a problem. You must change the way you think about work, about discipline, and about success itself. The way you perceive your actions and your potential directly affects the way you show up in the world. If you want to kill laziness, you have to kill the limiting beliefs that hold you back. You have to break free from the mindset that tells you it's too hard, or I'll never be able to do this. The first step in making that shift is to realize that your thoughts control your actions. You can't keep thinking like a lazy person and expect to become successful. Success doesn't come to those who think they can't, who constantly talk themselves out of taking action, or who doubt their own potential. It comes to those who believe in their ability to achieve. Those who understand that the path to success is not easy, but is built one action at a time. The reason laziness creeps in so easily is that it's rooted in fear, fear of failure, fear of discomfort, and fear of the unknown. These fears tell you that it's easier to stay where you are than to take the leap. They whisper that it's safer to stay in your comfort zone and avoid putting in the effort because the road ahead is uncertain and may be difficult. But here's the thing. The unknown is where the magic happens. The discomfort is where growth occurs. Think about it. When you look back at your life, the moments you're most proud of are often the moments when you stepped out of your comfort zone, took action despite fear, and made a decision to push through the resistance. Those are the moments that define who you are. And to kill laziness, you have to embrace the fact that growth requires discomfort. Success is not built in the safety of complacency. It's built in the trenches of effort, persistence, and determination. In order to break free from laziness, you have to adopt a growth mindset. A growth mindset isn't about believing that you're naturally good at something. It's about believing that your ability to succeed is determined by your willingness to learn, work, and grow. When you have a growth mindset, you see failure as part of the process. You don't let mistakes or setbacks stop you. Instead, you view them as lessons that are helping you get closer to your goals. Laziness, on the other hand, is rooted in a fixed mindset. The fixed mindset tells you that if something is hard or if you struggle, it means you're not cut out for it, that you're not good enough. This kind of thinking paralyzes you and convinces you that it's not worth the effort. But the truth is, the only way to succeed is by continuing to push forward despite setbacks, learning from your mistakes, and growing stronger with each failure. Once you make the mental shift from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset, everything starts to change. You begin to understand that effort is not the enemy, it's the pathway to success. When you see failure as a teacher, and when you embrace the discomfort of growth, you start to view work not as a burden, but as an opportunity to learn, to improve, and to become better. One of the most profound changes you can make in your mental shift is to stop believing that you need to be perfect in everything you do. Laziness often creeps in because you're overwhelmed by the idea of doing something perfectly. You get stuck in the cycle of overthinking, of wanting everything to be just right before you take action. But let me tell you this, perfection is the enemy of progress. If you wait until everything is perfect, you will never do anything. You'll spend your time preparing, planning, and thinking, but you won't take any real action. And without action, there is no success. When you change your mindset and embrace the idea that done is better than perfect, you open the door to real progress. You realize that perfection doesn't exist, and that striving for it only leads to procrastination and fear. It's the small, imperfect actions that lead to big results. When you stop waiting for everything to line up and just start taking action, you build momentum. And that momentum is what carries you forward, even on the tough days. Another crucial aspect of making this mental shift is understanding that your success isn't dependent on external circumstances. Too many people wait for the right conditions before they take action. They say, I'll start when I have more time, or I'll begin once I have more resources. But here's the truth. Waiting for the perfect conditions is another form of laziness. It's an excuse. The truth is, the conditions will never be perfect. You'll never have all the resources, time, or perfect circumstances to start. But you don't need them. What you need is the willingness to start with what you have and make the best of it. When you shift your mindset, you stop seeing obstacles as reasons to quit and start seeing them as challenges to overcome. You stop waiting for the world to change for you and instead take responsibility for your own actions. This mental shift, this change in perspective, is what sets the successful apart from the rest. Once you make the decision to take action, to push past fear and self-doubt, to stop waiting for the perfect moment, you start to see how much more you're capable of. You'll be amazed at what you can accomplish when you stop giving in to laziness and start believing that your effort matters. The most successful people in the world aren't necessarily the smartest or the most talented. They're the ones who show up day in and day out, who embrace discomfort, and who have the mental strength to keep going even when things get tough. To kill laziness, you need a shift in the way you think. You need to stop seeing yourself as someone who's stuck and start seeing yourself as someone who is growing, someone who is capable of achieving great things. When you make that shift, you unlock a whole new level of potential. You realize that laziness doesn't stand a chance when you have the right mindset. And when you develop that mindset, your success is inevitable.